Hey guys, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. I'm a little bit off today. Give me a second. I'm still trying to get the other guys in. I went out of order because I was running late. So give me 1 second while I get everybody logged in. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. We'll get this fired up. Right on, here they come.
All right.
We're already live, just so you guys know. I went a little bit out of order because I was rushing and I got the thing fired up. So Adam, if you can take it away while I finish the back end stuff.
Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts episode. Help me out here.
498.
498. All right, I thought so, but figured I'd get it right. So, well, we are all over the place today, but it doesn't matter because the end result is going to be the same. We're going to answer your questions about local SEO, and we got a couple quick announcements before we get into things. The first one being, Bradley, are you doing the redirect so that people go to the
It's
right
done
place?
already.
Awesome. All right. So the other announcements we have, if you are following us on social media, you've probably seen Bradley talking about the DHA 3-day workshop. That is coming up June 3, 4, and 5. It is 1 hour a day. It is live. It is going to be interactive. And the goal of that is to get you up and running by the end of the 3 days with your own lead generation via cold email. Bradley's going to be going through the tech setup. He's going to be going through the messaging sequences. He's going to be doing all of it. So in 3 days, you could have that up and running. If anyone listening to me has ever tried to do cold emailing before, you will know that just to be able to do that in 3 hours, plus a little bit of homework on your own, is insane. You can spend months trying to set this stuff up, find the right tools, find the right messaging, figure out what industry to focus on. So if you are at all interested in having more leads coming into your agency, then that alone is worth it, even if you can't implement it right now. However, most of us, I would imagine, want to have more leads coming in as of today, tomorrow, or maybe even yesterday. So highly suggest that you check it out. Bradley, do you want to tell people a little bit more about what's going to be going on next week?
Sure. We on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm going to lay out the strategy and the process and why what it is and why it works. And so day one, we're going to talk about selecting an industry and why that's important to niche down and focus down. Because again, I can't tell you how many times I have chats or calls with people that join our mastermind and they're trying to be everything to everyone, which means you're never good at any one thing. Like, if you're trying to be a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And therefore, you'll never be effective at really anything you do because you're trying to do too much for too many people. And so niching down is going to help you to be able to get better at what you do, produce better results, and scale your agency, land more clients, sell more of your services because you get focused. Okay. And it's you're more scalable. So industry selection is one of the very first and most important things, in my opinion. And so it's a very extensive process for selecting the industry, because here's the other part of that, guys. Once again, I can't tell you from training and coaching people over the last 10 years that I've been coaching, how many times I've seen, and I've done it myself in the past, but I learned many years ago that when you don't get results in a particular niche and you jump from one industry to another, guess what the common denominator is? You. It's not the niche, it's you. Stick with something long enough to make it work. And so selecting the appropriate industry up front and doing all the research up front will so that once you decide on an industry, there's no buyer's remorse, no looking back. You've already done the research to know it's a viable industry. And so you have to just stick with it long enough to make it work. If it's not working, it's you. Change your strategy, change your method. It's not the industry. Going from niche to niche to niche isn't going to make you more effective, right? And that's what people don't see results immediately and they want to blame the niche. No, it's not the niche, it's you. Because if there's other marketers, if there's other industries spending money on marketing and lead generation in that industry, then it's not the industry, it's you. And so again, niche selection is incredibly important. We're going to cover that day one. Day two is going to be about developing a brand and then buying the domains that you're going to need for your brand as well as for your cold emailing. Okay. And I'm going to give you SOPs at the end of every presentation so that you guys will have homework. It doesn't mean you're going to have all this built in 3 days, but you're going to have the whole process, the methodology, and the tools, training, and the tools and training, excuse me, to be able to build this. Okay. Then day three is going to be about the messaging and so the sequences, the email messages, and setting up the email application, which is instantly. You guys go look it up yourself. And then lastly, it's going to be the keyword and competition and location research for those are the areas that you're going to target first. So like I said, it'll be an hour a day where I'm going to lay out what the each kind of SOP and lesson is for. Then I will go through the presentation. There's no pitching or anything in any of this, guys. It's pure training. And then I will answer questions at the end of that hour. Then I will assign the SOP and the homework, and then we'll meet the next day. At the end of 3 days, you will have everything that you need to be able to implement this, which is, again, I've been working on this for over 3 years, almost 4 years now. And I spent, as Adam said earlier, you can spend months and months and months trying to figure out all this on your own. You don't need to. I've done it all for you. And it's actually a lot easier now than it used to be. And all of that will be revealed throughout this 3-day workshop.
Cool.
Is that good enough?
Yep. I got the link up on the page. So if you're watching live, you can click get signed up. If you're watching the replay, it's in the chat box. Or you can just go to smshort.link/DHA, the number 3 day. So smshort.link/DHA 3 day. Cool.
I'm feeling a little bit like upset that I don't see the normal comments coming in that we normally have at this time, like "What's up, jerks" and all that kind of stuff.
I know we threw people off getting started early. So
must have.
Let's see. Last one real quick. We got a few we can choose from, but just wanted to say, if you're ready to join the mastermind, if you want to take your local SEO agency or your consulting to the next level, be in there with a bunch of other local SEO owners, as well as learning from Bradley, you should check it out, Semantic Mastery, or rather mastermind.semanticmastery.com. If that's the place for you, hop in and join. We would love to have you.
Okay.
Let's see. We've got... we missed out today. We were supposed to have a special guest with us today. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. He had sick kids. It's unfortunate. Real life happens. So we will be having him back in 2 weeks. And then next week, we also have a special guest joining us. And Atishay will be speaking actually too, towards not just cold email, but about how you can make that more effective. So really interested to talk to him. I've used him for cold email outreach before in his services. Bradley, I believe, still does. Fantastic at what he does. So going to be really interesting for him to share his thoughts. And I think it's kind of perfect timing with the DHA workshop. This would just be icing on the cake as far as some training or some learning from Atishay about what he's learned over the years of doing cold email. So be sure to tune into Hump Day Hangouts next week. Week after that, we got somebody else lined up, going to be showing us a really cool platform that can do some really nice, easy, deep analysis with Search Console stuff. So more about that later. All right, guys, I think that's it for now. Anything else before we jump into questions?
No, I just want to say hi to Craig, because Craig chimed in and said, "Hey guys, good day, gents," or "Good day, guys," I should say. And so thanks, Craig. It's good to know that somebody's here. Here comes Nigel too. So thank you. Now I don't feel so lonely. So, all right, thanks, man. I'm going to grab the screen and we're going to get into it. We've only got a couple of questions. We have two. That's it. So this should go fairly quick unless I go real in depth, which maybe I'll do that. Let's see.
Cool.
So if you guys that are here or participating, if you have any questions about SEO or anything that you want to discuss or something like that, bring it up, put it in chat. We'll have a discussion if we have time, which looks like we will. And if we don't, we'll wrap up early. It's fine. No worries at all. But we grab the screen and we'll just jump into it. Cecilia's waving too. And Will, what's up, Will? So, okay, there are a few of you here. It's good to see some comments because you guys are usually pretty chatty. So, all right. So the first one is from Nick. I believe this is the Nick that's a new link building client of mine. And he's got a ton of questions because I did an audit for him. I think I've got another pending audit currently for you, Nick. So if you're here, that's great. If not, you can catch the replay. Question is, do you have a testing framework you use? How would you test different LLPs for the same website? So he's talking about location landing pages. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, a location landing page is the landing page that is linked to from the Google Business website, or excuse me, the Google Business profile, meaning it's the website URL that you assign to the Google Business profile as the website. That page that it links to is the location landing page. I see all that, and it's normal to see single location businesses that link to their homepage. But I've discovered over the last few months that that is not the best page to link to, even for single location businesses, because your location landing page should provide agreement with how the GBP is optimized. In other words, it should corroborate or validate the optimization of the Google business profile itself, meaning it should reinforce it. And so if you think about it, most businesses are trying to convey a message of like who they are, what they do, and where they do it. But the homepage should, or the location landing page should be optimized to the same level and to corroborate or reinforce what the GBP is optimized for. So let's, as an example, if you're a service area business where you cover a large, which is what I almost exclusively work with, is service area businesses, you're generally trying to target a fairly large area. And so if you link to the homepage of the website as the location landing page, and you optimize for a broad area, and you also try to squeeze in multiple service categories or service keywords or product or service keywords or something into the SEO title of that homepage, then you're sending conflicting signals to Google, because now the location landing page is not agreeing with how the GBP is optimized. The GBP is optimized for brand first, then the primary Google business category plus additional categories, and then the city that it's physically located in. GBPs are not located in counties. They're not located in regions. They're not located in states. They're located in cities. So you should be optimizing for the city that GBP is located in, right? So that you're reinforcing that, you'll get better search results in maps. You'll get better performance for maps search when you optimize the location landing page to corroborate how the GBP is optimized. So even for single location businesses, you should have a dedicated location landing page that's optimized for the specific city that GBP is located in when you're trying to target a larger geographic area for the entire business. I mean, in other words, the homepage should be optimized for brand first, then the top level kind of product or service keywords or terms, topics, categories, etc., that are all inclusive of all the services that that company provides. And then the geographic modifier mentioned on the homepage should be the largest geographic region that encompasses or includes all of the service areas that business services, right? So now you're setting the stage from the homepage of who you are, what you do, where you do it. And you're telling Google very clearly from the brand page, the homepage, which should be optimized for the brand first, exactly the area, like what you do and where you do it in the broadest terms. But then the location landing page, which should be a dedicated page for that specific city that the GBP is registered and located in, can then be optimized for specifically brand first, who you are, what you do, so primary Google business category, or the top category that is all inclusive of all of the additional categories. And then that specific city and state, sometimes just a city, depending on how Wikipedia references that location entity. So that now that location landing page is providing 100% corroboration or agreement with how the GBP is optimized. The map will perform better in search that way. Does that make sense? And so hopefully that clarifies what the question is. And so now the next part is this: how do you test different website structures? Build test sites, Nick. That's why I know you're new to this and to our group. But for 2 years now, I've been hammering away, well, for longer than 2 years, but I've been hammering it very, very hard the last 2 years, is to select a particular industry. I know you're in one industry, Nick, but I know that your primary business is not SEO. You're learning SEO for your own business. So it's going to be difficult for you, but there's no other way to do it. All of us that do SEO for clients, I keep telling people go into one industry. Nick, I know you are, but I'm talking about for the rest of our audience. It's very difficult to test this when you're trying to test this across multiple industries. But when you're in one single industry, which is what you are, Nick, then just go build sites in that industry, right? You just go build test sites. You test different. What do you think I did, guys? For 2 years, I'm still testing. I'm still finding ways to make it better and better and more and perform better, right? But I've done it in tree service industry now because I consult with other SEOs. I've also been doing a ton of research and showing people how to structure, at least within a framework of how to do all of this in other industries. And then I'm getting reports back from a lot of those people that I consult with and agencies, et cetera, about the results. And then I provide additional suggestions and we try to fine tune it. But I can't do the testing for you except for in the industry that I'm in, which is the tree service industry. So I develop all of this framework through my own testing in the tree service industry. And then I teach that, and I try to disclaim right up front that it's going to require some testing and trial and error on your part to figure out what the best performing configuration is in your particular industry. I can give you the framework and give you resources that you can go analyze to determine what is best for that industry. But then it's going to take trial and error. That's what SEO is, guys. It's trial and error, right? You just go out and start testing. And once you find something that performs well, again, direct response marketing principles. Once you figure out what works best, then that becomes the control. And your sole purpose in life is to beat the control. Always try to single variable test other configurations. So you change one variable, so you duplicate that same kind of structure into a new build. Change one variable and test it against the control. See, does it improve? Is it better performance, same, or is it lower performance? Okay. If once you've identified what type of effect it had, then if it's positive, duplicate it. Try it again. Try to see if you can duplicate that again with another test, and see, does it produce a positive response again? If you can duplicate that with consistency, positive response, now you know that becomes the new control. Then you do it again. I wish I could tell you there was an easier way, guys, but there's not. That's why I'm telling you guys, and I've been saying this nonstop for the last several years, pick one industry and go into that industry and test. You will figure it out. Once you figure it out, you'll start crushing it. I've showed this dozens of times. I'll show it again. I just finished another audit for another client today, and I already had this pulled up, guys. I've got 94 out of 96 keywords in the #1 position with this site. 94. These are not junk keywords, right? It's a low competition area. Yes, I'm not trying to state that this is a high competition area. What I'm trying to demonstrate with this, guys, is the effect of proper site structure, page structure, site structure, internal linking. When you get on page done right, you will need significantly less content, significantly less pages, significantly less links to achieve top performance, because you build an efficient site that conveys exactly to Google who you are, what you do, and where you do it in an efficient way that Google can understand. And if you don't believe me, just go check it. Like, let's just go take a look at this, guys. This site right here, if I go open this up, we're going to go check it out in Majestic. Just to be clear, I know some of you have seen this before, but we're going to paste this in and go take a look at the backlink profile. Do you guys think I have a relevant or strong backlink profile to this? Come on, guys, look at it. Trust flow value of 1 in completely irrelevant, non-relevant categories. It says that there's backlinks from 2 referring domains. Okay, let's go take a look at the backlinks. The 2 referring domains is, one of them is my TreeCare HQ directory site. So there is one valid link from that, and that's this one right here. Then this other link, which has been deleted, was a link from Booster Pages, and that's just what I use. It's an indexing tool is the way I look at it. It's not actually for links, it's for indexing. Okay, so you understand there's one live link pointing to this site right now. One live backlink pointing to this site. And it's this one right here from my directory site. And yet, look at these ranking performance, the ranking performance of this site, guys. 94 out of 96 keywords. It's actually 48 keywords, but being tracked across mobile and desktop search. So there's actually 48 keywords. And so we have 47 out of 48 keywords in the #1 position. 100% on-page optimization. It's through page structure, site structure, and internal linking, guys, without the bloat, without all the unnecessary shit that we see on all these sites all the time. Oh, damn it, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go to Firefox, see if it'll open up. Okay, just go take a look at the site, guys. This is the same exact structure that I use for every tree service site now. Every single one, full stop. Why? Because it performs well. And again, look at this, guys. Like, for example, this is the most populous area or city within this county. It's not, again, this is a very low competition area, guys, but this is to demonstrate how structure, at what I've been describing as page structure, site structure, and internal linking, how effective it is. Okay. When you combine that with a map, this is just an organic only asset because it was for testing purposes. But when you combine it with a map, it will help the map to perform very well too, when done properly and linking to the appropriate page. But anyway, let's go in here and just set a filter real quick. Excuse me, let me close that out and click. I'm just going to use Grundy as the filter. So these are the keywords that we're tracking for Grundy. Every single one of them, except for tree cutting and desktop, is #1 position. Okay, so it's the location page that is ranking for every search query, not the service pages, not the home page, not 18 blog posts saying the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's one location page that ranks for every search query. Why is that? Well, because the location page is optimized. And by the way, look at the content on this page. Well, this, you know what? Let me show you. This one actually has more content than the newer builds that I'm doing, but it's still not much because this is really, there's an opening paragraph here. And this was really part of the opening paragraph. I just extracted it into 2 different sections. And then there's this right here, this content here, which goes down to there. That's it. That's the content of the page. Then there's some FAQs, and I do that on every page. And that's more of an SEO thing because the H3's FAQs, Google likes that kind of data. But that's it. There's not a lot of written content here, guys. You don't see a page, tree removal Grundy, tree care Grundy, tree trimming Grundy, stump removal Grundy. You don't see that. We don't need that. The location page doesn't also need to have H2s for each of those services. And in paragraph after paragraph of text, reinforcing what's already been stated on the service pages. Why? Because the service page already says everything that needs to be said about tree removal. So we don't need that. All we need to do is reference and link to. So page structure first, right? Structure your pages properly so that you can convey what the topic of the page is through the structure. You don't even need content to do that. I proved this last week. Let me demonstrate that again. I just want to pull it up, guys. This is that important. Okay. I cannot stress enough how powerful this is when you guys get this. And I know that I have a mastermind member who purchased an audit. I provided the audit. I gave very thorough instructions in my audit, which I always do. The one I just finished earlier today was an hour and 20-minute long video going over the audit. Okay. So I'm very, very thorough on my audits. And I just got a message on another site that he wants me to audit because he implemented what he says. I did everything that you said in your previous audit for this site, and the rankings tanked. And I looked at the site, and there's a significant errors that need to be addressed. And so that's why. So what I'm saying is, if you get it right, and that's why I'm talking specifically to Nick, test in one industry. I know, Nick, you are in one industry. I wish I could tell you there was an easier way, but there isn't. You start playing around with the frameworks that I'm providing in your own industry, and you will very quickly figure out what you can. Look, I spent 2 years doing it. You don't need to spend 2 years. None of you do. Pick one industry, follow the framework that I've been teaching regularly. Almost every week I talk about this now, even on Hump Hangouts, and then start applying this in one particular industry and play around with configurations. Mess with your SEO title, your H1, and your first H2. Those 3 things right there are the most important. And then how they relate to the other pages on the site. That's site structure and internal linking. Start with page structure because Google ranks web pages for search queries, not websites. Remember, Google is a document retrieval algorithm. It treats pages as documents, right? But now it used to be where we could rank a page with the rest of the site being complete garbage. If we had one page on the site that was optimized really well, it could rank very well. It's not really the case anymore. Because of the helpful content update, there's kind of a multiplier effect from the site quality score that Google determines by analyzing the entire site. It comes up with an overall site quality score. Then it will apply that multiplier, or apply that kind of quality score multiplier to all pages on the site. So that's why I talk about all 3 components: page structure, site structure, internal linking, because that's how we can convey to Google through those structural elements exactly what the site is, who we are, what we do, and where we do it. I swear to God, let me just show you, just to clarify that. We're going to go into predictive link building tool of OnPage. I'm going to go to load, and we're going to look up, this is just an example right here, guys. This page right here on one of my mastermind webinars or Build with Bradley groups or something a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about this, and so I wanted to demonstrate it. And to show you guys, look at this page here. This page right here, I conveyed it through structure. When I talk about page structure, guys, Google knows exactly what this page is about because of structure, and there's no content on this page other than headings and subheadings. That's it. Nothing on this page but headings and subheadings. And we submitted this to Google's natural language API via OnPage AI. And look at the topical categories Google identified. This is Google's natural language categories data that it's returned. Google knows exactly what this page is about because of the structure. There's no content on this page, guys. Headings and subheadings, that's it. Google knows what the page is about. Why? Because it's very clear. Do we need content for Google to understand what the page is about? No, we don't. We can say it right there. By the way, what do you think the keyword density of this page is? It's incredibly high. Why? Because the only thing on this page are headings, and they're all keyword rich, right? So Google knows exactly what this page is about without any content, with no images, no media, nothing. And it determined that through URL. That's the first touch point. So when I talk about page structure, these are the most These are the elements of page structure. URL is always first. That's how Google found the page to begin with. It's the first touch point, right? So the URL, then your SEO title, it's document title, meta title, they're all the same. Then there's the page title, that's your H1. Then you have headings, those are H2s. Then you have subheadings, H3s, 4s, 5s. Then underneath all of that, at the very bottom, the least important for local SEO, clarify this, I'm talking about specific structures for local SEO. I have not tested this in non-local campaigns. I have no idea how that would perform for that. I don't do non-local campaigns, okay? But in local SEO, we can convey all of that through the page structure. The very last line item there would be media and content, kind of parallel with each other, because that is the least important thing on the pages, in my opinion, right now. And that's because, again, Google can understand what the page is about via structure, okay? And then how you relate that page to other pages on the site so that you can convey to Google in an efficient way without bloat and redundancy. You reduce crawl resistance. Thank you, Cecilia. She's the one that said that term originally, but reduce crawl resistance. Google will reward you. Think about it. If Google can understand through your page structure, site structure, and internal linking who you are, what you do, and where you do it very quickly and efficiently, why wouldn't it reward that site over competitor sites that have dozens of bloated content with redundancy that Google can't crawl or won't crawl, and a lot of pages that are been discovered or discovered not crawled or crawled not indexed? Why is that? Because they're redundant, they're low value pages, etc. So instead, you narrow down your site build to just the essentials, and just your service pages are thoroughly optimized to thoroughly describe that particular service. You want a dedicated service page for each distinct service that business offers. Then you have location pages that you optimize for the top level topic and category terms, right? If it's a Google business, if it's a website that has a Google business profile associated with it, figure out what the top level category, GB category is, that is all inclusive of all the other services. In some cases, it's hard to do, but in many cases, it's quite simple to do. And then you optimize the SEO title for, and in addition to figuring out what the top level Google business category is, that's all inclusive of all the services that that company owns or provides, excuse me. Figure out what the top level topic term is too, which means which term, SEO term, has the broadest keyword coverage. In my industry, it's tree maintenance. Tree service is the top level Google business category. Tree little s service. Tree maintenance is the top level category term that has broader keyword coverage than even tree service. So what I'm saying is you figure this out in one industry, which again, sometimes requires some trial and error just to figure that out. Once you figure it out, then you can start playing around with configurations. You want to have that semantic triplet statement, subject, object, predicate, right? Which is who you are, what you do, where you do it, in simple terms. Those kind of entities are right, brand entity, product or service entity, location entity. They can be rearranged, that order. I always recommend leading with the brand or ending with the brand. But the who you are and what you do, or excuse me, what you do and where you do it can be, that order can be rearranged, etc. So as you can see, this is a perfect example of that. Look at this page. This has what or where we do, Grundy, that's a city in Virginia, what we do, tree service, and then who we are. So this is a rearranged order. But then so that's the SEO title, semantic triplet statement, 3 main entities, brand, product or service, location. You understand? So we're asserting the relationship between those entities in the document title, the SEO title. Then in the H1, the page title, right? That is where we restate what we do and where we do it. You don't have to reiterate brand because brand is already implied, right? It's already been implied through the document title and it's a page published on the branded website. So we don't need to reiterate or restate the brand in the H1, but we do want to restate the product or service entity and the location entity, but you want to use a variant of it so that it's not duplicated SEO title, which is over optimization or can be over optimization. It's not always, but it can be. And so what we've done here is you can see that I have Grundy tree service, brand. Then in the H1, I've restated what we do, tree maintenance, and where we do it, Grundy, Virginia this time. So now in between the SEO title and the H1, I've duplicated that, I've reinforced that semantic triplet statement because in the H1, the brand is already implied. Hopefully that's clear. Then the first H2 is critically important as well. In the tree service industry, the additional category had been arborist and tree surgeon for a long time. Now, it just in the last month or so, has been changed to arborist service, which is a combination of arborist and service economics combined in Wikipedia, combined to create arborist little s service, right? And so that's important too, because if you can add another Google business category as the first H2 or reinforce or restate what was already said in the SEO title in the first in the H1, excuse me, but use another variant, arborist service. And by the way, you can make that plural or singular. It doesn't matter. That's a close variant. It does not change the meaning. It's a close variant, so it does not change the meaning. So arborist service is the additional category. But I called it arborist services because that's more relevant and more appropriate for then listing multiple services. Hopefully that's clear. But then if we go view this, guys, so what I'm saying, guys, is now we've reinforced in the three most, in my opinion, the three most important headings on the page. So the SEO title or meta title or document title, they're all the same. The page title, which is H1, and in the first H2, which is important. We're now restating what we're trying to convey to Google. And then again, it goes back to page structure. Let's copy this page. Go look at this in Chrome, where I have the SEO Pro extension, and you can take a look at the page structure here. So if you look at the headings, yes, there's two H1s. Why? Because high level sites, which is what this is, has a desktop version and a mobile version. So you should never have more than one H1 on a page unless it's an index page or an archive page for like a blog roll or a tag archive page or category archive page. You should never have more than one H1 unless you have a site builder like High Level that has a desktop version and a mobile version, in which case you should have two H1s, one for each version, desktop, mobile, but they should be the same H1 so that you're not causing conflicting data. Does that make sense? So if you take a look at it, what are the tree maintenance in Grundy, Virginia? Tree maintenance in Grundy, Virginia. Then look at this hierarchy of the page. Arborist services, right? So that's that first H2 right there. And then there's H3s that, because remember, guys, subheadings should support their respective headings. And headings are H2s. So page titles in H1, headings H2s, subheadings H3s, 4s, 5s. So H2s should support the H1. H3s, 4s, and 5s, so subheadings should support their respective headings or H2s. That's page structure. Again, for many years, I know all of us got away from doing proper page structure because we used H tags for styling elements and all of that. I've done it too. But now I'm telling you, I don't know why, maybe because Google's having a hard time understanding or processing all the data. Their servers are overloaded, etc. But all of a sudden, there's a resurgence of page structure being important. And so again, you make it optimized appropriately so that you can convey to Google through the structure of the page exactly what the page is about. Guys, see that? This is proof. And then again, going back and then how you relate that page to other pages on the site. So if you go back and take a look at this, again, it goes back to the structure is right. And then I'm linking to each of those service pages. So that's why this one page can rank for all of the search queries associated with that. If I can get back to Zootrix, here we go. You see how it's ranking, guys. There's one backlink to the entire domain. One backlink, and it's not strong, particularly strong or anything else. And yet we've got 94, so 47 out of 48 keywords in the #1 position, pure on-page optimization. And that's through everything that I just described. So to get back to the question, very long-winded, I know, but we had the time today anyways. And that is, how do you do it? Start testing. There's no shortcut for that, guys. In SEO, there's a lot of trial and error. To do it properly, there's going to be trial and error. Good luck trying to do this, and not to you, Nick, specifically, but to those of you that still feel like you don't think it's right to niche down. I disagree, wholeheartedly disagree. Because this is how you can scale your business. When you figure this shit out in one industry, guys, now you just duplicate over and over and over again. You already know that you have a competitive advantage over all the others out there because you put in the work to determine what is the most valuable, the highest performing structure or setup in your particular industry, right? So then you just duplicate the hell out of that over and over and over again. Boom, you're done, right? You can delegate that because now you can build SOPs on how to develop SOPs on how to build this site structure and then delegate that shit. And then you can scale it, right? Instead of you guys going out and going through keyword research and testing this, and testing that, and throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks for every single project that you manage. And then you get some positive effect over here and some negative effect over here. And you don't know what combination or recipe of things you did for this project to produce the result, and over here, which produced the negative result. So you're always guessing. How many of you can relate to that? You're unsure of, and you're not confident in your abilities to get results in any one industry because you don't know what really is the appropriate configuration and recipe of things to get the results. So, keep doing that, and you're going to keep getting the same results, which is haphazard, hit or miss, right? Random, volatility, all of that. So pick one industry, figure this stuff out, and then scale the shit out of it. That's how you build a business that is duplicatable, repeatable, scalable, and it has a good, solid foundation, right? That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to that. That's what the DHA program is all about. How can you tie these ideas differently without a lot of manual effort? There's really no way to do it other than the test, man. Like I said, I teach the framework so that you guys have a shortcut to it. As much as I can provide a shortcut. In the mastermind, I give SOPs. I give this LLG site, what I call local lead gen site template, both in high level and in WordPress, that then can be modified to whatever type of industry you're working in. I've got SOPs just to demonstrate this, guys. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this. I really think this will be valuable to those of you that are on the fence about all this stuff. Let's go in here and take a look at this. I'm going to show you. This is the LLG site deployment SOP that I've developed for DHA program members and our mastermind members. It's available for them as well. But here's a new project that I'm building right now for take a look at this, guys. This is how thorough this SOP is. If we go into any one of these, you'll see that it's very, very thorough on how to go through and build these sites. I give you the template, and here's the full training, literally step by step, on how to go through and build these sites within the framework that I'm sharing with you right now. Okay, there is nothing left here that is for questions, right? That everything is done. And every time one of my DHA program members comes up with a question about one of the steps in this process, I go in and update that step to provide more clarity. So this SOP right here alone is incredibly valuable for those of you that are wanting to try to implement this type of a build into your services. Okay, but there's only one place you're going to get this, and that's being part of the mastermind. So I can show this to you, and hopefully you guys can see the value of this. But otherwise, like, how else are you going to do it? It's going to be through manual effort. I can give you the shortcuts through SOPs and through training, but it's going to still require trial and error on your part in order to figure out what performs best, guys. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Like, there's no other way around it. Same thing with sales. We talk about sales all the time. I do, because I feel like that is probably the most important thing that any of us as agency owners should be focused on, is sales, more than anything else, because that's what generates the revenue. And so there's no shortcut for getting better at sales than just booking more sales calls. Like, you can watch all the videos in the world, listen to all the audio books or audio programs in the world. You can join all the coaching groups in the world for sales, for learning sales and becoming better at sales. All of that will help you to speed up your learning curve and become better faster, but none of it's going to help if you don't practice. What makes you better is repetition, practice. And so sales calls, like all the training in the world, isn't going to help unless you are consistently practicing. How do you practice? Book more sales calls. That's the same thing, right? How do you get better at anything? You do more of it. That's it, right? So when it comes to these kind of site builds, just do more of them, right? Play around with them, set up, go out and buy 5 domains, right? And then just go test different configurations on each of those domains. But try to once you have a control in place, you want to try to single variable test against that control. Because if you go in and you change 5 things on a site that you're testing against the control, then if it has a positive effect, which of those 5 things did that? Was it a combination of all 5? Was it 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 1 out of 5? Who knows? You don't know. How do you know? So my point is, have one that's a control and then test against that. Change one variable, swap the H1 with the SEO title, and see if that has a better effect. Does it? Okay, fine. Duplicate it across two or 3 more. Does it have the same effect every time? Okay, now you got your new control, right? Then go in and play around with the H2, play around with the structure of the page, play around with the internal linking, all of that. I don't recommend playing around with internal linking, because this is it right here. Service page should link to all location pages. Each location page should link to all service pages. Now you're done. By the way, you build one link to this, any location page on the site, what happens? It distributes equally to all of the service pages. You build a link to any service page on this site, what happens? It distributes equally to all the other location pages and the other service pages, right? So now you reduce the need for links, because through internal linking, you're going to push keyword, topical, and geographic relevance and link equity throughout the site from any one page. It's going to distribute and flow through the entire site because of the structure. Does that make sense? So again, guys, I know I keep preaching this every single week, but it's because I can't tell you how many audits I do for SEO professionals, even many of which are on my own mastermind, that I've been teaching this for 2 damn years. And I go look at their sites, and it's like, I don't know if people join these groups just for what I call infotainment, right? Information that they use as entertainment. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe it's because your workload is too big. And I don't mean you, Nick. I'm talking about just a lot of SEOs that I see on a regular basis and talk to, et cetera. Maybe your workload is too high and you don't have the time to test or the time to try, and you're afraid to implement this into what you've already been doing. But let me ask you, all of you guys that are here now, how is your current results and your current SEO efforts? Is it producing consistent, repeatable, duplicatable results, reliable results? If it's not, then change it, right? Why do you keep doing the same thing that you've always been doing if it's not producing better results or consistent results, reliability, predictability? If you don't have that in your business, what are you doing? You're taking a guess. You're rolling the dice on every project. Why? That's not a stable business. I know a lot of you guys are overstressed from your business. I'm overstressed too, just because I do too many damn things. I got too many businesses that I'm working on, which really, that's okay, because I'm passionate about all of them and I enjoy it. So I have the energy to do it, if that makes sense. But this kind of stuff super excites me. I'm not kidding, because I've been duplicating this site structure now and still making little tweaks to it for 2 years. I've been testing with this. That first kind of structure that I started testing with was about 2 years ago. And I keep fine tuning, right? Refining it and fine tuning it and making it better. And it's just great for me, because I already know the tree service guys, they don't even get a choice. This is the template they get. They want to work with us. This is what they get. That's it. Because this works. And that's what I tell tree guys. You want pretty or you want performance? Because I can give you performance and it's fairly pretty. But if you want pretty, go elsewhere. Because I'm going to generate leads for your business and get you results. Other people are going to get you pretty, but no leads, no results. So anyway, I'm going to move on. Hopefully that's clear. Next question. How can being a part of the mastermind group help me with challenges of running an SEO agency? Well, because you can bounce ideas off other SEO agencies that have likely been through similar experiences and figured out how to resolve it. You get training, you get SOPs, depending on the mastermind, but you can get in our mastermind. I'd spend a lot of time developing SOPs, and I share them with the group so that, again, you can modify the SOPs for your own specific needs, but now you have the framework. Any of you that don't have SOPs in your business, could you just imagine going through this like kind of process and building SOPs for all the activities that you do in your business? I do that. Okay. And then I share them with the group. And yes, they're built around what I do in my agency, but now you have the framework that you can then modify to fit your specific use cases instead of having to start from scratch. Why reinvent the wheel, right? Well, you don't have to. Join a mastermind, you shortcut your learning curve. Well, it depends on the mastermind, right? But in our mastermind, that's what my goal is to help shortcut the learning curve. But I say all that, I provide all these SOPs, I provide the training on a weekly basis. And yet I still see all the time in audits from even our own members that just completely ignore everything I say. And that's fine. It's fine. As long as they're paying, I don't care. You can join the group and listen and show up to the webinars for entertainment purposes. That's fine. But if you want better results, implement what I'm sharing. And don't just believe me, test. That's, again, going back to what I'm saying about testing, guys. Test, right? Don't believe anything that any one person says. Test. I show you results, but I'm telling very clearly, disclaiming up front, right up front. I can give you the framework, but you're going to have to play around with those configurations in your particular industry to figure out what's going to work best. And in the mastermind, by the way, you can ask for guidance and support about those particular projects, because I don't mind taking one of our members' projects as long as they okay that I do it in a training session with the entire group. I will provide specific recommendations on how to apply this framework to that industry. And then again, I will disclaim right up front, because I don't work in that industry, here's the framework. This is what I would recommend, but it's going to require some testing and trial and error on your part to dial it in. Okay. But that's what I'm there for. It's part of the mastermind group, is to provide coaching and support when it's requested. We have a lot of members in our group that don't ever ask any damn questions, and I don't understand that either, but that's fine. Whatever. But join a mastermind group, because again, it puts you in a peer group with like-minded individuals that have probably been through many of the same struggles that you would be going through and have found solutions. And also it's just a way to shortcut everything. You can try to do it all on your own, or you can take the easy route, which is to associate yourself around other people that have already done it. Right. And then it will, there's always going to be trial and error for everything that you do in business, for sure. But you can avoid a lot of the mistakes that many of us make. Hopefully that's clear. I've never been in any SEO group that had SOPs like this, guys. If I would have, it would have made a lot easier for me in my own business. So I learned how to develop them on my own, because I needed it. I needed to be able to scale. If you don't have systems in your business, how do you scale? It's always you doing the work. How do you delegate it, right? And again, how do you get repeatable consistency out of your projects if you don't have a duplicatable process that you apply to every project? That's why I love this SOP format in Flowster, guys, because like here, I'll just show you, for example, if we go in here and take a look at right here, you can see, let me give you a better example for one that I've been doing for so for example, in the DHA program right now, the first phase one group that are in with me now, one of the things that we're doing is setting up sub accounts in or Semantic Mastery's high level accounts called Local Leads app, that we set up high level accounts for our members. So we set up an agency sub account, which becomes the master or agency sub account. And then there's client sub accounts, which each LLG or local lead gen site has its own separate sub account. And we go out and build lead gen assets that then we use to pitch or point to in our marketing and our pitch, our sales presentation, to contractors or companies in that specific area. Because we can point to them and say, look, we've already got assets that are ranking for your products and your services in your area that are outranking you. And this is what I can do for you. And by the way, if you sign up with us, then we will add this or apply this site to your project. So in other words, they basically get lead gen assets included in the retainer. Hopefully that's clear. It's part of what we're teaching, or what I'm teaching, because it's a great way to make a sale, because you can already point to results in their area for their products and services that you can immediately apply to them when they become a retainer client. Does that make sense? And by the way, none of this has anything to do with GBPs that you need. You just have to optimize their GBP, but it's a real business, so you can re-verify it, reinstate it, whatever, if it gets suspended. Hopefully that's clear. None of this is about going out and building spam GBPs, guys. But why I bring this up here specifically is because here's an example of, you can see, guys, every single project that when I go to do something, and my team does the same way. I will deploy a workflow or create a workflow from our from the SOP. And then that workflow we work through the workflow and check off the items as they're completed. So there's consistency in our products and services, guys, because every single service is deployed in the exact same manner. Do you understand? And we go through each one of these. And then, so for example, this is an overview. Once it's done, check it off. Okay. There's a field down here that needs to be checked off. Then I can check it off over here. Then I go into data sources, right? After this module has been worked through and completed, check it off. Check it off. Then you go to the next module. Guys, that's consistency, right? Because now we know that every project that we complete has been done to the same level of quality, because we went through a checklist, step by step, and we checked off the boxes as we completed it. If we have to leave the project and for a couple of days, a week, whatever, we can come back and pick right back up where we left off, and there's no gaps. I know a lot of you, I used to do it myself, think, oh, I know everything that needs to be done up here. Oh, I promise you, you're taking shortcuts, you're missing things, etc. Maybe not intentionally, but I promise you, if you don't have a checklist that you follow every single time, or repeatable process, you're missing things. You're not doing things. Again, might be on accident, but there are things that you aren't doing that you would normally do because you think it's all up here. But we all do a lot of stuff, guys. So get organized, systematize your business, build processes, follow the process. But wait a minute. If you build a process, first of all, what are you going to build the process on or around? right? If you don't know what you did to get results for this one client, because you've got 18 clients in 18 different industries and you do a different mix of things for each one of them, and you have hit or miss results for every client, then you don't know what to build the processes around, which is again why I keep telling everybody, go to one industry and start really focusing on one industry so that you can start testing all these things and dialing in what works for one industry. And when you nail it, you scale it, right? You nail it, create an SOP, and then you scale it through delegation, automation, etc. If that's clear. And guys, I tell you all this through experience. I've been doing local SEO for 15 years. And it's only been about the last 3 or 4 years that I've really kind of dialed in or narrowed in on this. And my income shows it because I make considerably more money now than I did at any other time in my career. And it's not, I'm not here to brag about that. It's because I've developed systems and processes, guys, and I implement them. I'm very adamant about that in my organization. If I find that any of my team members are not following the process, then I immediately reprimand them and point to the specific part in the SOP that they didn't do and say, follow the SOP. I'll give somebody a maximum of 2 warnings and then they're fired. That's it. Because when I have full SOPs like this, where all they have to do is step by step, check shit off. If they miss something, then that's on them. That's not me. That's on them. They're responsible. So I'll give everybody a couple of chances. But after 2 chances, if I have to tell you a 3rd time, you're fired. And that's because we have developed repeatable processes. So I've been able to scale and duplicate myself through delegation. I don't automate very much, to be honest. I build SOPs and then delegate through personnel. I hire people and then I have a human actually executing what I've developed in an SOP. And then I've got somebody's neck to choke if they're not doing it properly. It's kind of hard to choke an app's neck, but I can choke a team member's neck, right? And I can yell at them. An app won't listen to me when I yell at them. So hopefully that makes sense. And no, I don't usually yell at my VAs. Sometimes I do, but only if it's really warranted. So anyways, like I said, guys, going back to how does a mastermind help an SEO agency? It can shortcut the learning curve considerably if it's a good mastermind. Sometimes they're just discussion groups, but even that can be helpful. Okay, even that can be very helpful. Next, best PBN strategy for 2024 says Roy. Oh, sorry, Miss Johns. Can you go over how you do on-page SEO currently after the latest G update? Yeah, I just did. I just spent 50 minutes talking about it. Go view this site if you want, bucketin.felling pro. I've got other examples you can look at, whatever. You can also come join our mastermind, get this SOP. This is exactly right here. This SOP for LLG site deployment, which is local lead gen site deployment, is precisely what I'm doing. We have one for high level and we have another one, as I was just showing you guys a minute ago, or said a minute ago, we have one for WordPress as well, for those of you that aren't using high level. And again, very, very thorough. So, and there's even a clone file that I've created that's pre-configured with this format and short codes and everything else. So all you got to do is, the way that I teach this, guys, is we create what I call geo-relevance data, which is I'll just show you. Here's an example. This is what we do. This is how we build the sites. Okay. This is all in the SOPs that I share in our mastermind. Whether you're in the DHA program or not, you get access to the SOPs that I have in the mastermind, guys, to be clear. So all of these SOPs that I'm sharing with you guys are available in the mastermind for all members right now. Okay. There's not an additional charge for that. And so what I'm saying is, here's what we use to build those sites, right? This is an example. I just built this site last week. So we collect all the data into an Excel file into various sheets, and then we upload these sheets or in the WordPress site, or in high level, there's forms that then we just copy and paste the data, and this can be delegated. Once you learn the process, then you should delegate this, and that's what the SOPs are for, so that you can assign the SOP to a team member, and then they go through it and do it, so you don't have to do it anymore. Why? So that instead of you doing SEO tasks that have already been systematized, you can go out and focus on marketing and sales and generating revenue for your agency instead of building sites. By the way, building these sites, is that earning you money? No, ultimately it might, but aren't you still going to have to sell the site? So aren't you going to have to generate the lead that is interested in potentially hearing about what you have to offer? So you have to learn marketing to generate leads, and you have to learn sales to make the sale. So instead of spending all your time building these sites, you should be focusing on learn how to do it, sure, so that you're familiar with it, and then delegate it out so that you can have a VA that you're paying $6 or $8 or $10 an hour or $40 per site build or whatever, however you decide to pay them, They're out there building while you're focusing on lead generation and sales for your own agency. Generating revenue. That's what your role should be, is generating revenue, not building sites, especially when you have SOPs and templates for it, right? Delegate that and then focus on marketing and sales, because nobody cares about the revenue of your agency as much as you do. Nobody. So shouldn't you be focusing on generating revenue then, instead of what's the next SEO tactic? I mean, again, guys, I know we're all here because we love SEO, sure, but did you do it because you love SEO? Did you get into this because you love SEO? Or did you get into this to make money? I did it for both, really, but originally it was to make money, but I fell in love with SEO. But I'll be honest with you, what I work 14 hours a day, I work 14 hours a day because I'm passionate about it and I have the energy to do it. I'm not kidding. But I wouldn't put that kind of time and effort into it if I didn't like it, right? And part of the reason I like it is because it produces a lot of revenue for me now, right? So again, if you got into this business for fun, great, fine, keep building sites and everything. But if you got into this business to make money, and figure out how to systematize your business on the things that are effective, and then delegate it and focus on marketing and sales so that you can sell that to others. That's where you make the money. Okay. Anyway, I get very stressed out and disappointed from seeing so many, just people are still optimizing like it's 2020. The algorithm is almost unrecognizable from what it was a few years ago, guys. So learn how to optimize for today's environment. I mean, I'm just talking about local SEO and mainly service area businesses. I'll just claim that all. I'm not saying my way is the only way or the perfect way. I'm telling you that I've nailed it for tree service contractors. And if you apply this kind of framework to other industries, especially service area type businesses, it's likely going to work. It's just going to require some trial and error to figure out the best configuration in your specific industry. But it can be done. But I was just talking to one of our program members, DHA program members. We have every 4 weeks in a personal one-on-one accountability meeting with me. And I was talking to one of our members earlier today on our accountability call. And, I said that, repeating the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results is never going to help. So, learn this framework and implement it for your specific agency, and then you scale over and over and over again, and that's how you're going to get consistency, generate revenue consistently. Okay. All right, moving on. Best PBN strategy in 2024. I'm thinking about using GPT generated articles and CTR signals and using it for tier 2+3. Do you think this is a good strategy? I don't know. As long as you're buying domains with relevance, which by the way, I teach that in the mastermind too, guys, how to go out and buy domains, expired domains with relevance, look at the backlink profile, all of that, and then you can build local sites or sites with geographic relevance, and you can also build blogs with topical relevance. And that's what we do at Semantic Links, 100% transparency. So, yes, it's a good strategy, still works, but buy domains with relevance. And when you repopulate the domain with content, make sure it's relevant to what it was previously online, but make sure the backlink profile is relevant too. Because if you change the topical category of a site, you render the backlinks irrelevant and useless. Does that make sense? So don't go out and buy domains on metrics and then put whatever topic on it you want. Don't do that. Understand what the topical relevance of the domain was the last time it was published online. Look at the current backlink profile pointing that domain. Are they relevant? If they're relevant to that industry, that topic, then you can purchase that domain and then repopulate that domain with content in that same or closely related topic so that the backlinks that are pointing to it remain valid and effective. If you change the topical category, you'll render those backlinks useless because they will not provide any value. You can do that on a local level. There's a course in our program or in our mastermind specifically called Local PBN Command. You can actually buy that one separately. We don't have many projects that we sell outside of the mastermind, but this is one of them. It teaches you how to go out and build local blogs, so blogs with geographic relevance, okay, and how to hunt down domains and all that. It's the same process we use for blogs with topical relevance too. It's just been modified for this process. That's clear. So that's something else available in our mastermind. Okay. Is it a good strategy? Yeah, we do that at Semantic Links and it works. Especially if you mix in a few links that have traffic, which we don't provide. Some of our sites get traffic, but that's not a metric that I track for my sites. We push relevance through Semantic Links. But then if you have a provider where you can get guest posts or niche edits, et cetera, where you can select traffic as a metric when you're deciding on which type of link to buy, then traffic is a validator. And what I found is that I focus for all my own local SEO clients, we focus mostly on semantic links, so links with topical or geographic relevance. But then once per quarter, I've got a few different providers now, but that I use for outreach links, which are going to be traditional type of guest post and niche edit links where they're selling you on third-party metrics, DRDA and traffic. So I use the traffic metric as the determining factor for me. I don't give a damn about DRDA. I really don't. I honestly don't care about that. What I care about is relevance, and now traffic from when I'm buying those types of links. I want links with high traffic so that that kind of ignites all of the stuff that I'm doing with relevance. So I focus mainly on links with relevance, but then sprinkle a few links in. Like I said, for my local SEO agency clients, depending on their budget, I'll do 1 or 2 type of outreach links with traffic per quarter, because I pay like $150 to $200 per outreach link, and so it's expensive. And so I only do that for like 1 or 2, depending on my client's budget, per quarter. So every 3 months we'll go out buy 1 or 2, but then we focus most of the links on my links, which are semantic links, which are much more cost effective because we're pushing relevance. We're not selling third-party metrics. We're selling relevance. That's clear. All right. Are you guys still using drive stacks, using the G sites are out of the picture? G sites are not out of the picture, Carson. G sites are not out of the picture, guys. Sites.google.com is still very much alive and very much working. So yes, we still use Google Sites. You're thinking about Google business websites. It's a completely different animal. So yes, we're still using G sites and stacks, etc. John says, where can I get your audit? Go to semantic links or vetted, either one. I don't care. You can go to semantic links. If you want to just sign up for semantic links, you go to DA. Here, I'll just show you the DASH is in dashboard.semanticlinks.com, or excuse me, .io. And that's going to take you to, let's make sure it's not going to log me in. Okay, good. This is the login screen. So if you don't have an account, you just click sign up. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. And then once you get logged in, you'll see all the services available. There's a consulting services menu item in the left navigation menu. Just underneath that, there's comp analysis, which is competitive link analysis, and in full SEO audit. Or you can go to vetted, the marketplace, VETTTED. That's vetted, like as in vetting a professional, but it's with 3 T's. And this is a marketplace. As soon as it comes up, sometimes the hosting is slow on this, and I don't know why it's not coming up. But anyways, you can go to vetted.com and you'll find my profile on there, and I sell the SEO audit services there as well. Okay. All right, we're at the 5 o'clock mark. I want to very quickly look at comments, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I had a quick one up near the top asking about you ranking with Go High Level, which I think you've talked about before, but basically the answer was yes.
Where is that one?
Where is it? Craig, there you go.
Okay, Craig says, I started using Go High Level. Are you able to get these sites to rank with SEO? Craig, that's this site here. What do you think? This site here, this one that I just showed you, 47 out of 48 keywords in the #1 position with 1 backlink to this entire domain. This is a high level site, guys. This site template here that I just shared with you guys over here in this SOP, that's the WordPress version of it. Whoops, sorry, let's go back on page here. Here's the high level SOP specifically for high level sites. Snapshots, the snapshots included all of that. So again, if we look at this right here, the request snapshot completed here, you will need this DHA client snapshot. That's what I will provide in the mastermind. I'll provide the snapshot that has the LLG sites already configured in your high level account, and it's got the forms already built. Just to demonstrate that, I know we got to go, but Adam, if you got to drop. I'm going to finish answering his comments real quick.
Sure.
Pause the screen just for a minute, guys. I want to show you an example. So here we go. I'm inside high level for one of my sub accounts, a site that I just built last week with the exact same structure. It's called Chester Felling Pro for Chester County, Pennsylvania. And so, for example, if I go into sites, under websites, you'll see LLG site 4x5. That means 4 services by 5 service areas or locations. There's a version of it that integrate or without for organic only. Then there's also a version that integrates with a GBP. So there's 2 versions of it. And then right here is how you build the site. I just showed you guys underneath what we do is collect all the data, which is just, again, VAs can do this, guys. There's full SOPs on how to collect this data. So VAs go out, collect all this data, and paste it into the Excel file, just like this. All the images, everything are all prepared externally. Once all this stuff is done, so each of these cities, all this data is collected, then it's a matter of going into high level, opening up each one of these forms. There's a separate form for each one of these sheets right here. You'll see there's 9 sheets in total. So there's 9 forms. Excuse me, I keep clicking on the wrong one. There's 9 forms. So for example, we would just come in here, we would click on this form. We're going to click preview or integrate open form link. And then the VA just copies and pastes the data from the CS or the Excel file into this. And then once they click submit, these are custom value updaters. So in other words, if we go back here, let me just back out of here for a minute, and I'll just show you in the sites. Look how the sites are built. Every one of these pages, guys, are built, they're tokenized. It's all done through custom values. So the only thing that needs to be edited on these sites are the content within the content blocks, but everything else in the site, everything, guys, look at the navigation menu. The navigation menus are all shortcodes, page URLs, images, everything is all done through data collection and then input, form input. And then the entire sites are built. Excuse me, I keep doing that. This over here, everything on this site are done through custom values. The images, everything. The only thing that needs to be edited on this site, other than customizing colors and everything else, is just the content blocks, because I still believe that you should have unique content on every page. So I didn't tokenize all that shit. That's it. And I've got, even in this SOP, guys, there's right there are the page prompts. Excuse me, right here are the prompts that I use for ZimWriter to produce the content for every page, the exact prompts that I use and the settings and everything. So again, it just goes back to showing, systematize your business, then you can duplicate and scale through delegation, automation, etc. And that's what the whole program's about. Sorry, wrong one. All right, I think I got a couple more comments to look at and we're done. We're a little bit over. How do I get a hold of the business owner not knowing their name beforehand? Says ADHD. You contact the business. You don't need their name to contact the business, right? Contact their business because they're listed in Google. That's how we find companies. We use Outscraper, outscraper.com, Google Maps data scraper. We scrape contacts that have Google business profiles, and then we contact them via cold email. I do everything through cold email, guys. 100% cold email. And we get consistent responses every single day from cold email only. Rami says local keyword with location, bulk search volume, check tool, free or trick. I have no idea what that means. I'm going to move on. Effective testing with less manual effort is to join masterminds like SM and hook up with peeps to discuss. That's right. And arrange JB testing. Will Scott says 100% agree. Thank you both. Is the DHA workshop free for mastermind group, or do we need to pay as well? No. DHA workshop is free for mastermind members. You guys can join on Monday through Wednesday next week, because you guys, again, as mastermind members, you have access to all the SOPs already. So you guys are free to join. I've said this a dozen times, millions of times, guys, in 10 years that we've been running the mastermind. Our mastermind members get access to everything. The additional coaching from the DHA program, where I have daily office hours, where I'm available on Zoom meetings to answer questions and provide actual hands-on support for stuff. Plus, we have a weekly accountability meeting and every 4 weeks a one-on-one accountability meeting with me. All of that is separate because there's so much more additional one-on-one attention from me. But all of you in the mastermind have access to everything here at any time, and you always will. Okay, that's the whole point. I've always said that in the mastermind, that I wanted it to be that way. We don't hold anything back. We don't sell you other products in the mastermind. There's the mastermind where you get everything, and then now there's the additional coaching because of the additional one-on-one time from me. That's it. Those are the only 2 options we have. Okay, so yes, you guys are here to Will, you're free to attend, or excuse me, Alan, you're free to attend that DHA workshop next week. You don't need to pay for it. You can just join. Just contact support at Semantic Mastery, and Chris G will get you sorted on that, because he'll just add you to the registrant list. That way you don't have to pay for it, or he'll give you a coupon and you can go through the checkout process with a coupon. Okay. Will says, I've signed up for the SOPs and have stuck around for the community. Thank you, Will. The SOPs keep getting improved. Yeah, some get improved faster or more often than others. Like right now, the LLG stuff is very, very current. And that's only because I'm only one person and I'm the one that does all the SOPs. To see how you're for land flipping. I'm greedy with Bradley land flipping. Okay, sweet. Everybody's we'll see you guys tomorrow. We have a build with Bradley meeting. So those of you that are in the group, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the discussion group. I always enjoy those. I really do. Otherwise, we'll see the rest of you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.